All right, today we're going to dive into a case that really gets to the heart of public trust in local government. It's a story of alleged official misconduct, where the very power of an office may have been used as a weapon. Our story takes place in Rutherford County, Tennessee. There, the county mayor is now facing a criminal referral to the district attorney. And look, this isn't just some political squabble. We're talking about allegations that could very well cross the line into criminal conduct. So, what's at the heart of all this? The core allegation is that the power of a public office wasn't used for the public good, but instead was wielded as a weapon in a private political fight. Now, everything we're about to break down comes straight from the official referral and the documents that go with it. This isn't speculation. This is a step-by-step look at the case laid out right there in the paperwork. Okay, so to really grasp the seriousness of these accusations, we first need to understand the legal side of things. What specific line is the mayor actually accused of crossing? Well, in Tennessee, that line is called official misconduct. The law basically says a public servant can't knowingly use their job to hurt someone else or, misuse public resources for their own personal benefit. The key words here are intent and abuse of power. The referral for prosecution really boils down to two main things. First, the idea that a county lobbyist, paid for by taxpayers, was misused for a political campaign. And second, that a job applicant's private, personal information was illegally released. Let's dig into that first one. This brings us to the lobbyist connection. And this is where that line between public service and private political maneuvering allegedly got pretty blurry. And you can see the contrast right here. On one side, you have the lobbyist's official duty, what taxpayers were paying for, figuring out how to bring more money into the county. But on the other side, the alleged action, orchestrating a political smear campaign. So the big question is, were public funds being used for a private political fight? According to the documents, when Mayor Carr started looking into a tax issue that became a big part of this whole political dispute, this was his explanation. He said, essentially, that a constituent just happened to call and ask about it, a random, unsolicited inquiry. But the documents seem to tell a different story. They lay out a timeline that suggests this was anything but random. First, the lobbyist advises the mayor on the tax issue. Next, the mayor contacts an expert and reveals that the lobbyist provided the expert's personal number. And finally, the lobbyist contacts the mayor about a negative news story on his political rival. This sequence of events really points towards prior coordination. All right, let's pivot to that second big allegation. And this one gets really personal. It's about what happens when a citizen's private information allegedly becomes a tool in a political fight. The allegation is that sensitive, confidential information from a job application, including details about their family, was leaked to a media outlet reportedly aligned with the mayor. And here's the kicker. This happened before the individual was even officially hired, damaging their reputation right from the get-go. And this has a much wider impact, something known as a chilling effect. Think about it. When private data is weaponized, it doesn't just harm one person. It can make other qualified candidates afraid to even apply for public service jobs, and over time, that just erodes public trust in the entire process. Okay, so now we get to the part where, according to the documents, these two threads, the lobbyist and the political attacks, allegedly come together, and it all centers around a so-called whistleblower letter. And this timeline is pretty direct. On March 9th, a complaint letter is sent from the mayor's personal email to the county lobbyist. Then, just 3 days later, on March 12th, the exact same letter is filed by a supposed whistleblower. The documents then raise a really critical question to challenge the legitimacy of this complaint. Why would a whistleblower, who was hired first, file a complaint targeting 3 colleagues who were hired after him? The referrals suggest this was done specifically to attack individuals perceived to be connected to the mayor's political rivals. So, let's zoom out from the details for a second. What's the real takeaway here? It all comes down to the importance of public trust and the true cost of these political fights. And this quote from the source material just nails it. The reason this has been elevated to a criminal referral is because it's not about isolated incidents. It's about an alleged pattern of using the machinery of government, your government, to fight private political battles. Ultimately, what these documents allege is a fundamental breach of that public trust. The accusation is that taxpayer money and access to confidential files weren't used for the public good, but were instead turned against a political opponent. And that leaves us with a final, crucial question to consider. When the tools of public service are allegedly weaponized for political gain, who truly pays the price? As this case moves forward, it's a question worth asking in any community. Thanks for joining this explainer.